We got shirts on sale. Express your Eeveelution and starter Pokemon love by buying an Eeveelution family shirt in Which One starter shirt. Link will be in the description below. Armored Evolution, a rumor that has been going on for quite a while. The other week I posted a video talking about what I thought Armored Evolution could be if it was actually true. I talked about how it was possibly created and even talked about some Pokemon I think could potentially have an Armored Evolution. This rumor could wind up being completely false, but I just wanted to create a video that talked about what it could be like if it were real. I did a fun speculation video, that was the intent of it. If you guys want to know more about what I think Armored Evolution is, click the link in the iCard in the top right corner. But to give it a simple rundown, I think Armored Evolution is going to be armor put on Pokemon to make them stronger, rather than suppress them like what Mewtwo had to do in Pokemon the first movie, and the armor he is wearing now for the current Pokemon movie coming out soon. Korokoro did come out and say, however, that Mewtwo's armor will be exclusive to the movie. However, I don't think that this inherently writes off the whole idea yet. But at this point, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Anyways, back to the concept. Each armor suit given to the Pokemon will have its own unique abilities, whether it increases stats or even changes the typings up. One more thing I should add is that I think Armored Evolution will not likely take up a Pokemon's item slot, and instead will be more like how Pokemon Fusion worked with the Kyurem and Necrozma fusions. Note that once again, this is completely speculation and this is no way real. It is not confirmed. With all that in mind, I wanted to talk about some Pokemon that could in fact get Armored Evolutions if this mechanic did exist. In this video, I will be covering what I would want for Armored Evolution designs. We'll go over some stat distributions, but not all, and I will also talk about the armor's function for that specific Pokemon. Okay, hopefully I've shed some light of what I think Armored Evolution is. Now I'm going to get into how I'm going to be doing the stat distributions once they evolve. To make them not more powerful than Megas, I'm literally just going to use the same distributions as a Mega Evolution would. That's it. This is just to keep it simple. The distribution could be completely different if it in fact is real or not real, whatever. Anyways, let's get into the countdown. Starting off the list, we got Bisharp. Aw, come on, Mystic. Really? Bisharp already has armor. Yeah, that's the point. Just give it more armor. I'm thinking for a design, I'd like to see an actual knight's helmet kind of added with a medieval kind of armor look. Oh, and we need sharper blades for Bisharp too. Those sharpened blades would be the primary function of the armor, meaning attacks that have slash in the name would do a significant more amount of damage. Bisharp pretty much embodies a knight. So Bisharp's blades will be super sharp. I just hope they wouldn't do any serious damage. That would be pretty unfortunate. I think Hawlucha getting an Armored Evolution would be super fun and kind of hilarious. Hawlucha wouldn't get any steel armor or any sharp blades. You wanna know what Hawlucha would get? A masked wrestler outfit. Imagine it. Hawlucha has an additional mask on top of the mask-like face it already has, and it's wearing spandex and everything. That would be the most hilarious but awesome set of armor I could see for Hawlucha. It doesn't need to have a heavy, bulky set of armor. As long as it works for the Pokemon, it's pretty much all that matters. Plus, if Hawlucha were to get a heavy set of armor, it would slow down its movement by a lot. The spandex though? Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. The function of this armor would be to buff its jumping attacks. Have you ever seen wrestlers jump and slam their opponents down? That's the main focus of Hawlucha's armor. Moves like high jump kick, bounce, and flying press would be buffed by a great amount. Bounce also wouldn't have to charge up. Luchador outfit Hawlucha, I think it's a perfect fit. Literally. I never thought I would ever give any attention to Barbaracle, but here we are. I dislike this Pokemon heavily, but sadly I think I could get an Armored Evolution. The armor design I could see it getting are literal mechanical arms. That's it. I figured it's got so many arms, let's take advantage of them. The arms functions would be to buff up any attacks that have punches or attacks involving using the arms. Those attacks would be buffed by a bit and they would have a chance to get more hits in. So think of it like Skill Link, except not guaranteed 5 hits every single time. There would be a luck aspect to it. Sometimes it can only hit once, twice, or maybe even the maximum being 5 times, but that's a rare chance. Some of you are shaking your head going, isn't this Skill Link? Actually, no, it's not. Any attack using the arms, not multi-hitting attacks. For example, an attack like Cross Chop would have a chance to hit 5 times with a 20% power raise. I suppose I could also give it mechanical legs for it to move a little bit faster. It would increase Barbaracle's speed stat by a bit. The luck aspects of the multi-hits could be 2 hits 30%, 3 hits 20%, 4 hits 10%, and 5 hits like, I don't know, maybe 5% or something. Those are just estimates. There's no pattern or anything like that. Seeing Barbaracle like this though really makes me actually like this Pokemon. I hope this happens. Up next, we got Charizard. Yeah, Of course, Charizard will be on the list. Not number 1, but it definitely is here. While I have come to like Charizard a lot more than I did a few years back, I can't deny that Game Freak really milked Pokemon like Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Charizard. I mean, for God's sakes, it's got 2 Mega Evolutions just because it's Charizard. So if Mega Evolution does end up being real, it only makes sense that Charizard would be one of the Pokemon to most likely get one. However, I think there are higher candidates than this actually. Charizard has gotten a lot of attention over the years, and I think there are Pokemon I think that could actually beat the chance of it happening. Plus, there's also the fact that the other Kanto series would have to get Armored Evolutions too. I mean, but they already got Megas, then again, it's Charizard, and it's just, it could get one for itself. I don't know, Game Freak can do anything. Regardless if Charizard got one, hey, I'd be pretty happy. It's just one of those scenarios where anything can happen, and Charizard getting one isn't out of the realm of possibility. So concept-wise, I'm going to be going with what I said in my original speculation video, and that's that Charizard's armor would be able to protect a force field of sorts, making it immune to its largest obstacle, being its quad weakness to rock type attacks. Removing this weakness entirely could make a plain Jane Charizard a serious competitor in addition to its mega forms. Charizard has solid attacks and stats, so nothing really needs to change there. It's pretty amazing to think about. Just removing one weakness can change the entire outlook of a Pokemon's usage, and I fully believe this Armored Evolution concept is the way to do that. Zoroark is one of those Pokemon where I feel could get some kind of Mega Evolution or new Armored Evolution at any point. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just comes off that way to me. If Zoroark were to get some kind of armor design, the concept for it would be to enhance its ability of illusion. Meaning, instead of it being able to just look like a projection, if it were to get hit at least once, it would be able to attain the form a little bit longer and to still being able to fool the opponent, especially if the player had like a specific strategy behind it. For the armor's design, I'm thinking it could have an entire kind of like thief look. Kind of like how thieves in cartoons wore all black and a mask to blend in. That way if Zoroark is seen, it can just hide away to cover its appearance. It's a dark Pokemon, so this makes sense. The suit could also have the function where it could also generate some kind of force field to soften up the damage it gets from attacks, considering Zoroark is a glass cannon. As far as the stats go, I think these are the distributions I want to go with. 135 speed, 90 special defense, 135 special attack, and physical attack 115. The reasoning why there is no increase in the defense stat and HP stat is because the entire point of this armor is for Zoroark to remain stealthy. It's for deception and swift attacks. Its special defense was buffed because that's where the force field comes into play. It's better at blocking projectile attacks versus physical ones. And when I mean projectile attacks, I mean special attacks. Zoroark has a better chance of getting hit from far away versus up close because that's where it's going to be the entire time if it was ever showcased in the Pokemon anime. Far away. Starting the top 5 of this list, we have a really cool Armored Evolution in Donphan. Now, it isn't anything too extravagant design-wise, but the concept I think actually takes it pretty far and is pretty deserving to be in the top 5. As you can see, Donphan's protective hide is now completely metal with metal spikes on it, as well as having longer and sharper metal tusks. With this being more ingrained into its design, I think it's very fitting that this Armored Evolution adds this steel typing to Donphan. Now you might think, how could this be useful to Donphan? It can only learn a handful of steel type attacks. Well, I think this armor would also give Donphan a new ability, similar to Pixelite and Aerolite, turning all of its normal type attacks into steel type attacks, giving it access to a wide arsenal of stab type steel attacks. I also believe all this armor would increase its defense stat with the spikes and tusks, adding a small amount to its attack stat as well. However, being that it has all this heavy armor on and the fact that it has to be balanced out a little bit, it only makes sense to drop its speed as well. So we're looking at a 50-point increase to its defense, 10-point increase to attack, and a 10-point decrease to speed. Yeah, that 40 base speed isn't gonna hurt it, but honestly, it's worth the sacrifice to have a hard-hitting ground and steel type mod that can actually take a hit. I really don't think that makes Donphan broken either. It really just gives it a fighting chance, which is really the idea with these kind of forms to begin with, to make bad Pokemon good in some way. I have been wanting this Pokemon to get some kind of appreciation for a long time now. Butterfree should get a Mega Evolution or an Armored Evolution, enough said. If it were to get an Armored Evolution, that could contrast Beedrill's Mega very, very well. So there are many things I have wanted to do with Butterfree if it were to get a Mega Evolution. I have made quite a few videos talking about that. Armored Evolution is a tad different than that though, but I would like to keep the concept of it being a Psychic type Pokemon the same. The armor Butterfree would give it the addition of Psychic type and would allow those attacks to get a decent increase in power. Along with those changes would come some stat increases, and it's to be original, I'm going to mirror all of Beedrill's changes, except put the stats it would get for its physical attack into its special attack. Butterfree and Beedrill are practically set Pokemon, so I think that could be a really neat concept. The aesthetics I would want though are a tad goofy. I would literally just give it a pair of goggles to cover Butterfree's eyes. They look like huge lenses, so I think it would be cool to give it kind of like a helmet with the goggles. I hope Butterfree gets some kind of love soon enough. It deserves it so much. It's redemption time, Ken Sugimori. You got RS blocked the last time with Flygon, but this time you get the perfect opportunity to do something for it. Armored Evolution sounds like a dope concept, and the idea that getting an Armored Evolution would be pretty cool. The aesthetic for it, well, would just be a suit and the ability to weaken ice type attacks, considering it has a 4 times weakness to them. Flygon always gets gypped and never gets the attention it deserves. Garchomp got a Mega Evolution, and it was a complete dumpster fire of an idea. For Flygon, we can improve the stats all around with a nice blend and balance to everything to make it better than Mega Garchomp. We could put 10 into its HP, defense, and special attack, and throw 30 into both its speed and attack. I know these are basic, but so is Flygon's stats practically being the same. It has 80 in everything aside from attack and speed being 100. So I think 90 in everything and 130 in both its physical attack and speed is a decent stat distribution for now. But yeah, I think Flygon has a strong chance of getting something neat this generation of Pokemon, whether it's the Armored Evolution, another Mega, or something out of this world. Flygon has to get something in this generation, and I'm hoping every second it will. Now for Typhlosion, I decided to go with this poison concept simply because it was an out of their idea and I thought it was cool. Now I don't think we can make Typhlosion a fire/poison type as it doesn't get access to anything besides toxic. We could take the change normal type moves to poison type route, but I don't want that to be overdone. So instead we're going to go with the field condition route. Basically I'm thinking it will pretty much work how Sandstorm works. The poisonous gas released by the suit will do a little bit of damage to the Pokemon on the field in between turns. However, the twist with this is that it has the chance to badly poison your opponent's Pokemon. I think this would be a really interesting approach and can make this Pokemon a hazard as a whole. What kind of list would this be if we didn't get Armored Evolutions for the other 2 starters of Johto? What could be interesting is how Typhlosion could be the only one out of the starter set to get Armored Evolution Sword and Shield. Later in potential Diamond and Pearl remakes, the other 2 could get Armored Evolutions. This makes sense because of what happened with Blaziken and the other Hoenn in Generation 6. For designs, I can't really think of anything super neat like how I did with Typhlosion, but I think it would be dope if Feraligatr looks semi-similar to Lizalfos from Legend of Zelda series. The ability of the armor could be for Feraligatr perhaps move the player through the water faster via surfing, and in battle could buff its water attacks like how Torrent does. So it could have Torrent the entire time basically. I want to focus on an Armored Evolution that can help aid in game as well. Or if HMs don't come back, Feraligatr could be a ride Pokemon. The armor could be attached to the one in your party and you could simply ride it and go faster on the water. Meganium, I would just make it look like an armored dinosaur with the ability to make HP getting attacks give back more HP than they originally did. For example, Synthesis, Giga Drain, and Leech Seed would all gain more HP back. That's pretty simple and I think it would work well for Meganium. Coming in at number 1, we have the Armored Evolution we think is the most possible, being Zeraora. As I said in my speculation video, Zeraora was just kinda out of place compared to the rest of the Pokemon on the list, and still is in my opinion. It's funny I mention that though, because that's one of the reasons why I think it will get an Armored Evolution the most. A Pokemon that's out of place, I think it makes even more possible if anything. So the concept is real simple. Zeraora's armor is more like martial arts training gear. Sport training anklets, bracelets, obi, and a headband. Thus, you can probably guess that the change that Zeraora receives is the addition of the fighting type. I think a lot of Pokemon fans can agree that it was really strange that Zeraora was pure electric, especially because it has access to a pretty decent move pool fighting type attacks. Well, that's where the Armored Evolution would come into play, awakening the latent martial art skills within the Pokemon. I don't really think it would change Zeraora's stats or abilities, and I don't really think they need to. Zeraora was pretty solid, but I feel making it able to take advantage of its fighting move arsenal would give it a much deserved extra push to being a really awesome Pokemon. Well, that pretty much wraps up this video on the Armored Evolutions I think would be possible for Pokemon Sword and Shield if this concept existed. Like I said before, this is not guaranteed, but I think it would be super neat if we got a new concept like this in the future. Again, if you have not seen my previous video of me explaining what I think Armored Evolution would be, check the link in the ad card above. What Armored Evolutions would you guys like to see though? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like shiny hunting, showdown battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Brothers, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further in Game Club perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.